Samsung has a lot to do to impress us again. The fact that Apple's new iPhone 8 is imminent will heat up pressure on the South Korean giant. In fact, the upcoming Galaxy S9 has competition from the Samsung Galaxy S8, which in a year's time will significantly drop in price, making it a more appealing phone to most. The Samsung Galaxy S8 is among the best phones out there. In fact, it's the best Android smartphone you can buy. It's fast as you'd expect, and its edge-to-edge screen with that sweet 189 aspect ratio means it's gorgeous, too. As rumors suggest, Apple has thrown everything at the iPhone 8, and it's looking like Apple's most improved handset to date. Samsung isn't going to stand still, however, so we're expecting the Samsung S9 to move the smartphone benchmark once again. That being said, here's what we know about the Samsung Galaxy S9 right now. Read next. Best smartphone 2017 Samsung Galaxy S9 UK price and release date. When will the S9 come out? The Samsung Galaxy S8 was pretty expensive when it was released, even for a flagship phone at £689. It was bordering on iPhone territory. But if you're hoping the S9 will be cheaper, you're probably going to be disappointed. The Samsung Galaxy S8 has been a huge success at the current price point, so Samsung has no reason to reduce the price of the S9. What's more, it's very unusual to see a manufacturer reduce the price of the new handset. Usually, the RRP just goes upwards with each new release. Samsung generally releases its phones at MWC or at its own dedicated events later in the year. If Samsung is planning to unveil the Samsung S9 at Mobile World Congress or MWC, we should see this in February 2018. If Samsung decides to do what it did earlier this year, however, and release the S9 at its own event, expect to see it in March or April of 2018. Judging by the release date of the S8, the latter seems most likely. Read next. Best phone battery life. Samsung Galaxy S9 specs. Is the S9 going to be faster than the S8? Given the Samsung Galaxy S8 is still pretty new, it's unsurprising that there isn't too much to go on the Samsung Galaxy S9. The investor reckons that it's going to be powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon 845, but given that doesn't exist yet, it's not much to go on, except that it will presumably be faster and more power efficient than the Snapdragon 835 that powers the S8 in the US. Outside of the US, Samsung powers phones with its own Exynos chips, and the company has announced that its latest batch will support up to 6 carrier aggregation 6CA. That's a lot of words, but what do they mean? Well, theoretically any phone that uses it, and the S9 is very likely to benefit from this, could get download speeds of up to 1.2 gigabits per second. For comparison, the Exynos 9 processor used in the UK S8 offered 5CA, according to a recent leak on Geekbench. An early version of the alleged Galaxy S9 was spotted in July, 7 or 8 months before we could even see the launch of the phone. A device with the model name SMG9650 was listed with a 1.78 GHz quad-core Snapdragon 845 processor and just 4 GB of RAM. More THS and the 6 GB some have rumored it to have. According to the benchmark, it scored 7,371 points in the render script test, which is lower than what the Galaxy S8 managed in the same test. Oddly, the well-known KGI securities analyst Ming-Chi Kuo, who has correctly predicted many launches and specs notably from Apple, anticipates the Galaxy S9 will feature a dual-lens camera. This follows the footsteps of the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 that features two 12-megapixel cameras, one with an aperture of f1.7, the other with f2.4. It's logical that Samsung stick to a similar camera design with the Galaxy S9. Some suggest the South Korea manufacturer might opt for a telephoto lens for its secondary lens, which will give it 10x optical zoom, making it superior to the iPhone 8, which currently stands at only 2x optical zoom. Another rumor from Eldar Murtazan suggests the Galaxy S9 will have a modular design, like we've seen with the LG G5 and Moto Z. Read next. Samsung Galaxy Note 8 review. Bigger, better, less flammable. Pre-order yours now. Samsung Galaxy S9 things we'd like to see. At this point, there aren't many rumors about what to expect from the Galaxy S9. Here's what we'd like to see on the new Samsung. Less fragile design. One of the best things about the new Samsung Galaxy S8 is its bezel-less edge-to-edge screen, but in practice, that's also one of its worst features. It might look great for the first 30 minutes or on the internet, but as soon as you drop the S8 you'll find that edge-to-edge screen splinters into 1,000 pieces. When Samsung releases the S9, we're hoping it'll be just as pretty, but also a little more durable. Better fingerprint sensors. Smartphones are pretty hard to design because of just how many things manufacturers need to include in them. Take the phone you're using now, for instance. There's a camera, screen, fingerprint scanner, speakers, memory, battery and so much more to squeeze in, and that means sometimes things end up in less than optimal places. Now, we love the Samsung Galaxy S8, but its fingerprint sensor is directly next to the camera lens, which means you can miss and smudge your lens, and it does get pretty frustrating. We're hoping the S9 has a fingerprint lens that is much easier to reach. Read next. Samsung Galaxy S8 review. The best phone on the market comes at a cost. Make Bixby great again. When we first heard about Bixby, we expected a new type of AI that was much more sophisticated than Siri, and would even give something like Alexa a run for its money. What we got instead, though, was something more like Clipit. Hopefully, Samsung will include a better version of Bixby in the S9, and turn it into a fully baked assistant rather than a half-baked intern.